Warning: the Chaotic Culture Podcast is a program for mature audiences. The language and content presented in this podcast is of a mature nature that some audiences may not find suitable. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Embrace the culture, blaze the doja, grab your loved ones and bring them closer. Extra, extra, read the poster, the KKP is taking over. Sleeping on me, better smell the Folgers. I've been razor sharp since the Motorola. Off for O, like the cover Oprah. Popping bottles, feet all in the sofa. It's a celebration, though the times is hard. It's raining blessings, give it up to God. Chaotic culture, the greatest pod. With Ked the Pro, the one in charge. But it's a celebration, times is hard. It's raining blessings, give it up to God. Chaotic culture, the greatest pod. With Ked the Pro, the one in charge.
We're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. If you listened to the last episode, I greatly appreciate it. We definitely talked about our Hampton experience, and I hope that you were able to have similar stories to what we shared as well. Definitely go check it out if you've not listened to that last episode. But once again, this is your boy, the host, Ked the Pro, aka the Cutlass Diamond, aka the Calculator Millennial, aka been waiting to do that all season. Finally got some things down. But anyway, back again for another episode, and this time I actually have a special guest with me. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself because this is a very special guest because I have not had anybody like outside of Hampton other than a couple of my friends who are actually on this podcast. So the fact that I was able to get her, and she knows that I'm just so thankful that she's on this podcast. Like she can tell, like I am excited, I am ecstatic, and I'm glad to have someone who, when we talk about our subject matter, she's very knowledgeable. So I'm just glad to be able to have her on here. So let me not waste any more time. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Panda.
What's up, y'all? My name is Amanda, better known as Panda, also known as Panda the Don, better known as the OG Panda, better known as Pitbull Panda, better known as Panda with the Hammer, better known as the Haiku Ambassador. What's up, you guys? Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm really excited for this. Panda, just a quick question exactly, because I mean, I know a little bit about who you are and whatnot, but give the audience, I guess, a little more about, your beginnings, where you come from, where you grew up, school, what degrees you're working on, what degrees you got, things like that. Give you a little, your rundown.
So I was born and raised in Mississippi. Technically I was born in Jackson, but like I was raised mostly in Byram, then moved to Terry when I was 4. I've been in Terry for most of my life up until I went to college, which is Tougaloo College, the prestigious Tougaloo College located in Tougaloo, Mississippi, and HBCU.
Hey, shout out to Tougaloo.
And then when I graduated from Tougaloo in 2017, I went to the University of Alabama and got my MA in Women's Studies. I graduated from Tougaloo with my BA in psychology. Then I got my MA in Women's Studies in Bama. And now I'm currently at the University of Southern Mississippi, where I am getting my Master of Science in Counseling Psychology. I'm studying to become a therapist, and I'll be graduating in August of 2021. So woo, yay!
Hey, that's what's good. That is what's good, man. We love degrees. We love women with degrees, but great. Are you going to perhaps go into getting a doctorate like further on down the road?
So I was gonna get my doctorate right after getting my master's. I plan on applying for the PhD program here because that's where I really originally I wanted to do, but they put me on a wait list and then directly offered me the master's program. But being in school for so long, because I went into grad school right after undergrad and then went into another grad program right after my first one. So I'm really burnt out on school right now, but so I'm gonna take this year or two out to just figure out if I still want a PhD because a PhD takes a lot of strength, but I really get more field work completed and done before I decide to go back into school again. So yeah.
Hey, look, if anybody understands your pain, I do, because as soon as I had finished undergrad, I went straight into my program for business administration. And after 6 years, I was burnt out. Like, okay, yeah, I'm not doing this like again, like right now. Nah, I gotta take a break and I gotta work. It's not fun.
Oh man, look, I love my program, but I need a break from school. I'm tired of having assignments. I just want to do paperwork and have clients for the next 2 years and like at least. I need it.
Hey, I feel that 100%. So, whatever path you decide to take from here, we gonna support you 100%. But definitely, I see the work that you've been putting in. I mean, I can kind of see it on your face right now. You look exhausted, but you still glowing
I
through that. So
do.
I appreciate that.
Thanks. It's look, it's a lot. I realized how busy I am when I was telling my parents about my schedule, and I was just like,
Hmm.
oh, I work a full day just because of grad school.
Wow. Hey, I don't blame you. I don't blame you, but you know what? You are doing what you are supposed to be doing. And I got to give you applause just for the path that you're on right now. So, but yeah, so with just to get an idea now, for those of you who don't know, I first actually heard Panda on something that's called Worst Gen Podcast. And I want her to tell us a little more about that because if you've listened to my episodes before, you know that I've shouted them out multiple times. So, Panda, if you could just explain, where you come from as far as Worst Gen, like how you got on, and what you contribute to that podcast.
So I first was invited by GB at Worship in 20, I want to say 2019. And
Okay.
I remember because this was right after I moved to where I live now. So I was there's this group chat, this group message called Anime Greek. So it's full of, I want to say it was full of D9 and some other Greeks, like other Greek organizations that are not D9. So we were
Hmm.
all talking. And this dude, I'll never forget this. This dude had made a comment that the tuning exams in Naruto were filler. And I was
Huh?
confused because it's just like, do you not know what filler means? And so me and this dude was arguing with him, like he kind of like he basically said that the tuning exams didn't contribute to like the plot and nor character growth of the characters and of
Huh?
any of the main characters. And I was just throwing facts and facts and facts, like throwing info at this dude, and he didn't have really had a comeback and was like, contradicting himself. But to be honest, it really pissed me off because, like, first of all, if you're gonna say like, don't call it filler because that's not what filler means. Just say you just didn't care for that arc of Naruto, and it's fine. Like, that's not
Right.
everybody's favorite arc, and that's cool. But don't call it filler because it's literally in the manga. That literally is what happens in the
Hmm.
series. It's a huge part, and it's a huge segue between before when we start off and where we like before we got into like the Akatsuki and meeting Itachi and stuff like that. And like that's one of the introductions of one of the biggest villains we've ever seen. That's Orochimaru. So like, don't call it filler. And so after the argument was said and done, which I was still like hot about, and to this day it still irritates me to my core every time I think
Hmm.
about it. GB had DM'd me and he said, "Hey, we're on part of Worst Gen Pod, blah blah blah. We're interested in having you on and stuff." And I had never been on a podcast. I never even really listened to podcasts, to be honest. Like, I would just like, it was never my ministry or whatever. And so
I
I'd
got
never
you.
been on one, so I was kind of nervous. I was just like, I've never been on one before, and I don't know how we would do it because if I'm on a podcast or when you're all together, I didn't know you could do it across distances, like with people in another state. That was before I opened my world up to Discord and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up being on my first episode, and it was, I want to say this was before school started in 2019, so sometimes during the summer. And my first episode, and it was a lot of fun. Like I've never had someone want to talk to me about anime like the way that they did. And so that since then I've been a member of Worst Gen Pod, and I never looked back, and I've been happy ever since. And it's been such an amazing experience to be with everyone else because it's like a lot of us.
Yeah.
So shout out to GB and me. It's actually funny because GB DM'd me, but Sensei was watching like the group meet, and he said because him and GB were on before I was, and they were talking about wanting a woman on the pod, and so that's how they since they got put him on like on me and stuff like that, and so that's how they invited me on, and so I was just shout out to GB, Sensei, Rome, Lido, Toy Leak, Poodle. I feel like I'm forgetting someone. I know it. Warren.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
shout out to
say, yeah, don't forget
everybody.
Warren again, please.
Look, it's a lot of us. Like it's 9 of us, and I just have to be making sure I don't forget anyone. But shout out to them. Like they're really awesome. Like I love them to death for real. So that's my
Word.
story of how I got on Worst Gen, and it's been fun.
Hey, shout out to you. And shout out to Worst Gen Pod, especially GB. Shout out to Sensei Lugov, and shout out to Warren. That was my bandmate. Like we literally marched in the same band together at Hampton University. So yeah, that's how he kind of put me on because I had no idea. Like I was seeing the retweets of Worst Gen all over Twitter, and I'm like, and I see that he's in constant communication with this. So I'm like, what is going on here? So when I finally talked to him, I'm like, oh, it's a podcast, an anime podcast. Oh shit. Let me listen real quick. Like literally I was leaving South Carolina. And that's when I decided, hey, you know what, I'm gonna listen and see what they was talking about. And just y'all had me hooked the first time I tuned in. I'm like, yo, what the hell have I been missing this last year? Like, what the hell have I been doing? But yeah, I appreciate y'all so much, man. Y'all definitely keep that program live, man. So um moving on. This message is brought to you by Already Paid. Already Paid is more than a brand. It's a lifestyle. Where else can you find the richest quality apparel for the lowest price? Shop with us at foreverap.com and join the Already Paid family, or find our Black-owned business located at Stony Point Mall in Richmond, Virginia. You can also follow us at AP Styles, that's APSTYLSS, on Instagram. Be you, get paid, forever. The question was, which anime or which manga opened the door for you?
Naruto. So okay, so it's the main one is definitely Naruto, but a lot of other ones really just kind of made me watch it consistently. So I watched Naruto when it first came on Toonami. I didn't know what it was because I was watching Naruto, like not Naruto. I was watching Toonami beforehand. I was like, okay, so what is this new show? You know, I'm interested to see what it's about, and I started to enjoy it. And on top of that, I was also watching like Rave Master and Shaman King and Duel Masters and all this different stuff that was still on Toonami at the time. And I was also like kind of staying up late when I shouldn't be, watching Samurai Champloo and Bleach and Blood Plus and I want to say a little Big O and Full Metal Alchemist, the first one, on Adult Swim's anime blog before it took over Toonami. So I was watching that. I was also watching stuff on Colors TV, which had Fruit Basket, Kodocha, Blue Gender, Baki the Grapper, different stuff. But mainly the one to really just put me on anime and like start me into an anime and also fan fiction and stuff was Naruto. And that was my number one up until I watched Haikyuu.
Man, look, and I haven't even started watching Haikyuu, but it is on my list. And to my honest, we'll get to that list later because I think I've up to not 60 watched, but I think I've got 60 that I have been planning on watching. But yeah, I'll talk about that in just a sec. But that's good to hear. I never would have expected Naruto was the one that opened the door for everybody.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know what was. I used to tune in and my neighbors down the street would watch it and I just got more invested in it. And then I discovered the world of fan fictions on DeviantArt and like the fan doujinshi too. And it was like all Naruto. And that's how I started reading fan fictions. And yeah, it was just, it all went downhill from there. So there we go.
Okay. So just in talking, I have to admit that, of course, Toonami was the main staple for me as well growing up. For me, what opened the door to my eyes and what, made me realize what was considered anime was Beast King Go Line or Voltron. And that's one of the big reasons why I love mech anime, because after that, when Toonami brought on Dragon Ball Z and then all of a sudden here comes Gundam Wing, I'm hooked. Those two literally, brought me into the anime world. And so, yeah, was big Dragon Ball fan, even going back and was like, okay, I'm going to go watch the original series and, try to compare and contrast. And I'm like, okay, so I just love the series all around, no matter how it has its problems, as every anime does, or most anime does, because JJK, I haven't had a problem yet with that anime, and I'm just gonna be, maybe it's biased, I don't know, but and I haven't had a problem with it yet. But yeah, it was something that for me, that's what opened my doors. And I will say that in high school, of course, that's when I got into Naruto and whatnot. And as you, I would also stay up late and watch the anime block on Adult Swim, knowing good and well I had to be in church the next morning at 8:00 a.m., but would push that.
No, it's funny because sometimes I was still young, so I wasn't supposed to watch it, but like I would have like the return button ready to go back to Boomerang. So if my mom or dad would walk in, they wouldn't see me watching like Adult Swim or something and stuff. Like I would literally be doing that to hide from the fact that I was watching stuff on Adult Swim. And it was like stuff like, it was like violent stuff, but it wasn't terrible, but I still was like cautious. I remember one time I recorded something on my dad's DVR because I didn't have a DVR then. And then he like clicked on it. He said, Amanda, you know what this is? I was like, no. It must have recorded on his phone. It must have recorded on his phone. I lied because it was Blood Plus, and like I didn't need my parents knowing I watched stuff about like with a lot of blood and violence. So,
you know what? I will say that my mom kind of did the same thing until I got 14, and then she just kind of stopped. She didn't like that I watched Adult Swim late at night, especially when I was in middle school. It was like, and I would make sure that, but she fell asleep relatively early on Saturdays because, again, you had to get up, go to church at 8. But still, I would just sit there and I would just watch. And then again at 14, I think that's, matter of fact, when I was 14, because I'm sure my age, I was born in 91. But when Boondocks had first came, she didn't let me watch, or she wouldn't let me watch, but I would literally be like, no, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna watch this shit. And I would sneak it. And she never found out that I was watching these episodes, without her. But then my brother had moved back in, and he started watching. He's like, "Mama, he should watch this." Like literally. So mind you, we're watching some of season 1, and they think, at least my mom thinks, I had no idea what was going on. Meanwhile, like I've already been watching these episodes. I'm just like, I already know what's about to happen, but I'm gonna pretend that I haven't watched these episodes just so that I don't like freak my mom out. And she'll probably listen to this episode later, and she'll probably cuss me out on her breath. But still, yeah, I will say after high school and I got to college, like something happened to where I I broke out of not broke out of anime, but I just stopped watching for a long period of time. And it used to suck. I guess maybe because
Right.
I was trying to like figure out life at that point in time. College was, at least my freshman year up until like junior year, college was kind of and kind of rough. But I think I started picking it back up and found my love for it again. Matter of fact, it was Naruto. I think there was one point in time where it was right before, it wasn't right before Shippuden started, but it was during Shippuden, and I'm like, you know what, this anime is too good, and I can't wait. I'm just gonna go ahead and read. And it was the same thing for when we discovered Attack on Titan on Netflix, and we were like, okay, yeah, I can't wait. No, I cannot wait any longer. Like, because the break between season 1 and season 2 was so long, and yeah, I still have problems with that break, but I was just like, me and my friends were like, yo, no, we just gonna wait. We just gonna wait. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and read it. Like, I just can't. It's that good. Like, I need to pick up and I need to keep going. Like, what happens next? And that's kind of how I felt about JJK. I'm like, today I'll realize, like, yo, I can't wait another week for this. Let me just go ahead and just pick up and start reading the manga.
Oh, wise, oh, wise. I saw your tweet earlier. I was like, yes, agenda.
Dog, and
It's
I'm not. You
interesting
know
because,
what?
like, I feel.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I fell off of anime too, but I started reading more manga than watching anime. I actually recently got back into watching anime as much as I used to because of the pod, because like I was more adept at reading than I was watching, and so now I'm watching nothing but anime. That's all I watch these days. So.
And I see, especially when you talk about being burned out, I can tell, like, when that's all that you do, especially with this challenge that y'all got going on, it can be taxing on the body, like especially when you've just been watching anime all day. You like, okay, I get it. Um, so with that, we got to kind of dive in a little bit now about some of the anime that you are currently watching and some of the anime that you recommend.
Ooh, let me get my list out
Oh, she got the whole book.
just to look.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, I got my list
Look,
too.
I keep up with everything. Yeah, I keep everything on my app just to make sure I got it
Okay.
ready and stuff.
Is
So
that the analyst app? Like, do they have their own like app and whatnot? Okay, I probably need to look into that
yes,
too, because I didn't realize that they had an application for it. I was just seeing that y'all had an analyst, and I was like, what is this? So, yeah, I'll definitely check that out. But go ahead whenever you're ready.
So what I'm watching now, the stuff's being consistently updated. I'm watching, of course, Attack on Titan, the final season, but I started reading that, so I'm already caught up with the manga.
Mm-hmm.
Escape the Infinity, Horimiya, Cells at Work Code Black, the new volleyball anime, the 2.43 Senior High School Boys Volleyball Team, Jujutsu Kaisen, of course, Dr. Stone, Stone Wars, Quintessential Quintet Season 2, Wonder Egg Priority, and Wave Let's Go Surfing, the TV series. And I just finished A Whisker Away, and I started on Be the Beginning.
Okay. First, I know that you had said on Twitter like that Whisker Away was cute. Like, how was it in general for you? Like, other than it being cute?
I think it's a very good coming of age type of series when you experience, when you're experiencing life outside of school, and then you also experience your first love. And I think they're in junior high. So I think it's a pretty good, like, the first main character got on my nerves at first, but I had to remind myself, like, she's not your age. She's like a kid, and she's still learning about the world and stuff. And so, recognizing that, and also just just when you're a kid, you're figuring stuff out, and then you get feelings for someone else, and you just don't know what to do with them. It, I kind of see a little bit of myself in her when I was like younger, when it had came to like crushes and stuff. So I think it was cute, and I think it's a really good coming of age story in general, and just figuring out life and making and like understanding that sometimes like it may seem like life is just fully crap, but some decisions you can't make. You just can't make like extreme decisions like she did. But I don't want to spoil anything, so I think I really enjoyed it.
Sounds very, very yeah, middle school drama. Yeah, I'll probably check that out. It's a film, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably have to add that to the list. Yeah, I'm because I definitely had asked you for like for more shoujo as well because I realized that I was very like shonen heavy. And I guess when you growing up with Toonami, like that's really all that it was, with the exception of like Sailor Moon. But knowing that all like the anime that they posted on was like very shonen heavy, so that's why I always recommend or always ask, somebody give me some recommendations for shoujo because it's like I don't know where to start. Just like sports anime, like I'm going to start with Haikyuu because you told me to, so I'm going to follow up on that. But she get a thumbs up, like she can't wait. Oh man, like I'm gonna be like Mike. I'm gonna watch this first season and see what it's hitting for. Um, anyway, what if you could just tell me back because you had put it on Instagram, the shoujo that you recommended, but other than like Given and I don't know what the other one was. The other ones were, excuse me. So what are some shoujo that you would recommend?
Um, I don't really go into the locker for this one. I would say Fruits Basket is one of the first two shoujo I actually watched, and it's really good. They recently brought in a new series because they had an older series, but it didn't follow on the manga, and the creator of the manga hates that series, so they made a new one, and season 3 is coming out next month, and this will be the last season, so it'll be caught up with like the end of the manga.
Okay.
Fruits Basket. Recently, Horimiya is a very good shoujo. It's the relatively new, like really, really cute, and I authentically enjoy it. Might see me, Keith, and Polo talk about it on the TL when we're finished watching it. Let's see. Let me look at another one. I gotta go through my list and stuff because Princess Jellyfish is a good one. It's not romance, but it's more like just it's mostly shoujo. It's definitely a shoujo. Princess Jellyfish is good. Of course, you already know I love Given. Let's see. Another time. Tony Kawa, Over the Moon for You. I think a lot of people know about that one. Like the couple who just like are just not have just like freshly met each other and end up getting married, but it's still I really enjoyed it. I said some other ones. Kodocha, I don't know if that's on any streaming platforms, but that's a really old one, but it's really good. It used to be on Colors TV on the Funimation channel. I want to say that's a bunch of them that I said on my Instagram when you asked about shoujo.
Yeah, and I meant to save it, but unfortunately it just yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have sent it to you as soon as I posted it. I want to say Rent a Girlfriend is good if you like messy foolishness.
Oh,
and that's
I heard
not
about
usually
this
my
one.
ministry. But Mike told me to watch, and I said, okay, Fave, I'll watch it since you recommended it. And I actually enjoyed it because here's the thing, when it comes to like romance shoujo, I'm not a big fan of like the extra messy stuff because I'm a lot of shoujo like romance anime has like miscommunication and people not opening their mouth and just saying stuff and stuff gets screwed up. And like, I don't really care for that sort of thing, but I decided to watch it and it was enjoyable. I can't wait until season 2 when it comes out. I look forward to season 2. Orange is a very good one. It's romance, but it's also like, I think Orange really portrays the importance of friendships and being able to lean on, having a good support system of friends to lean on.
Okay, I actually have Orange on my list though. Yeah.
Orange it will definitely make you teary. Because it made me teary. I don't know how Hana is the flower that we saw that day is a really sweet, but it'll make you cry. It made me cry, but I'm also a crybaby, so don't listen to me. I want to say Kids on the Slope is a good one, but it's like it's a music anime, but it's also like some slice of life shoujo type stuff, and it's really enjoyable. And Yuri on Ice is a sport, but it's also like cute, and I also like it. But it's
Okay.
I just enjoy it, and I want to say Science Fell in Love, So I Tried to Prove It is another good one. I really enjoyed that one because it was just so adorable watching the two main characters try to, figure out what love is by through like like the scientific method and stuff. But
Hmm.
I think it's really interesting. So yeah, I think those are pretty much all of the ones I'd recommend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shoot, and I'll come back to this and listen. If there's one that I missed, I'll definitely be sure that I add it to the list here. Um, as far as any outside of shojo, are there any like shonen, of course, other than the main two, which we said, Jujutsu Kaisen and Attack on Titan, obviously. Please watch those, and we're actually going to get into a little bit of the discussion here in just a second. But what are some other like anime or shonen that you think that people will really enjoy?
So as far talking about current ones, Dr. Stone, I really think is very much a game changer when it comes to shonen
Oh
because
yes.
it's not really even really fighting, but it's a lot. Like you can learn a lot from the show, but it makes it so interesting. And I
Mm-hmm.
authentically love Jisenku as a main character. Um, I also want to say that what are some other ones? Like what have I been watching and what have I watched? Uh Disastrous Life of Psyche K is one I watched very recently,
Mm-hmm.
and that is absolutely hilarious. It's about this guy named Psyche, and he's a psychic, and he tries to hide his powers and try to live a normal life, but like things go awry, and it's just absolutely hilarious. Like I've watched a good 5 minutes just watching that show alone. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, Cells at Work, but Cells at Work Cold Black is really I really enjoy it because it makes me want to eat vegetables and live a healthy, like clean lifestyle and like
Yeah.
exercise and stuff. Because it makes me feel so bad. Like I just be apologizing to my body. I'm like, I'm so sorry if I ever made y'all feel this way, made y'all work so hard. Like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I heard when y'all talking about that. When you were on Blaname, I was like, so I need to check this out then, huh? It's one of those. Okay, okay, I see where this is going.
It's very good. I want to
Okay.
say also a recent one I've watched that's really good. I want to say Ikabuka or Westgate Park. So in case I don't know if I've said this on a pod episode or whatever, but like I have a huge love for like gangster yakuza or like delinquent like anime and manga. And so
Okay.
Ikabuka or Escape Park is about this like not yakuza, but they're like group of delinquents and stuff. And I really enjoyed the series. It's like it's just a lot going on. It's like a lot of drama, but I really find it interesting. I wish they had continued the anime. I also enjoyed. I recently watched Bakano, so I definitely recommend that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Joker Game is about spies and like espionage and everything. So I think Joker Game is a good one to watch as well. In case you
Mm.
like just watching how being a spy is difficult, but like how like watching this makes me like, you know what, I'm good. I don't need to be a spy at all because I suck at acting and I'd probably mess it up for everybody and actually reveal my real name in the middle of dead in the middle of a job. And so
Oh
I'm
goodness.
straight on it. I'm good. It's okay.
You
It's okay. It's
said
okay.
blow the whole
I don't need
operation up.
it. Look, please. I can't. I can't keep my face straight or nothing. I can't keep my story straight. It's over with. I would have to be raised into that environment. Um, I would definitely say Terraformers. So let me tell you about Terraformers.
Oh boy.
Terraformers is something Mike put me on. Really good in season 1. But season 2, the anime just goes to shit, and like
Oh man.
it's just annoyed. Here's the thing. Like I hate season 2, but season 1 was amazing. Like season 1 had great animation, graphics, fight scenes. like I enjoy season one. Season two just put a bad taste in my mouth, but it doesn't take away from the series as a whole. Like I enjoyed the series. Like Terraform is about people trying to like find a they're trying to find this not serum, vaccine or something, this cure for this disease that's on Earth. And so they tried to go to Mars to find it. However, Mars has been taken over by these mutated cockroaches, and they're really like strong as shit and everything. And it's just a lot. Just so people have to go undergo changes to help fight the roaches and find a cure and stuff. It's just if I was facing one of these giant things, I'd probably just die. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I already get scared of regular sized ones. These?
You don't do bugs. I look. I get it. Especially, and this is just between me and you. Obviously, the audience is gonna hear this, but I mean, I'm from South Carolina, so I know how big roaches get, especially them damn water bugs.
Boy, look. I can't. Like, I cannot. And they look down south Mississippi. Boy,
yeah, like it's a whole different ball game. Like go back home, I see a roach. I'm like, oh, okay. Soon as that bitch start flying, triggering.
Thankfully, knock on wood, I have not. Where's some wood? Because I'm finna knock on one for real. Because I can't face one that flies. I can barely face one that runs on the ground and the wall. Flying. No, I am good. I will stick. It's his apartment now. If I ever face one, it's his apartment now.
It's yours.
I don't live here no more. I'm moving.
Burn it down.
Another series I want to talk about is All Out. All Out is a sports anime. It's about rugby. And I tried to put Warren on this, but Warren is not a big fan. So he said, it's rugby. Why would I want to watch rugby? Shout out to him, though. He still need to watch it. He hasn't already. But it's one of the best, if not the best, rugby series I've ever read or watched. And I really authentically enjoy how they portray rugby and the characters. Sports anime has become my forte recently. Honestly, there's this other one called 1 Ounce. It's about baseball, but it's psychological and it's about manipulation and stuff as well as baseball. So it's on YouTube. I think they still have the episodes on YouTube. So I would definitely recommend watching that.
Okay, cool. I'm definitely going to put a lot of these on my list if they weren't there already. So to my audience members, I just wanted to let you know, so there is a specific challenge, which I've said in a previous episode, that Panda is, I won't say a part of, she's one of the watchers. It's called the Watcher 100 Anime Challenge. So if you could go into detail a little more about that.
Okay, so the Watcher 100 Anime Challenge is basically this, I say no pressure because it's, if you want to do 100 anime, you can, but you don't absolutely have to. This challenge is for to enjoy anime that's usually in their realm of things that they watch, but also to experience anime outside of what they would never think that they would watch. Right. And I created this challenge with Steve and Tail. Steve from Inside the Mind of a Blerd and Tail from Mike Check Watch. We shout out to them for being collaborative with me on this. And also all of the pods and all the people who are participating. We really appreciate you guys for using the hashtag and participating and stuff. But I created this challenge with them because of my own experiences with anime. So I started watching anime and then I would adventure out what is this about? I'm interested to see what this is about. And it ended up being something that I authentically enjoyed. Never thought I would. I'm not a sports fan in real life. I'm not a sport. I don't care for sports. I don't care for basketball or football or nothing. But watching Haikyuu opened the door for sports anime. And so to this day, I love sports anime. It's one of my favorite genres. I love to watch it. I enjoy it. I get pumped when I see my favorite team win, or if they lose, I cry with them. I get pumped. I do the cheers, this type of stuff. So it's one of become one of my favorite genres, despite not even liking sports in real life. And so this is my way of wanting that experience for other people. If you watch nothing but shonen, that's cool, but find some slice of life, some shoujo, some comedy, some psychological, some horror, explore stuff that's outside of what the realm of like what you normally watch, because you never know, you're gonna find one of your favorite anime. I found my favorite anime, Haikyuu. That's my number one right now, and it's gonna stay my number one for a
Okay.
while. So
Dang, yeah, she over here like you weren't joking. Like you putting Haikyuu on the map right now. Like
yeah, I
I
have to.
feel
I
that
gotta put
100%.
on. I gotta put on for my best boy and his team. Like I got to.
Where okay. So with that, I did at least want to share my list. I think I have about, well, I've gotten up to 60 that I believe I've listed right now. Um it's a lot of mix, because again there are certain animes and even certain mangas that I didn't expect to pick up, but I just decided, why the hell not. uh but I wanted to just point out, of course, something that I did not expect to like really get into, but turned out to be like great as hell. Obviously, as I gotta say, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. um and I'm a big fan of isekai anyway, but that when I started watching, I'm like, yo, why did it take me so long to watch this shit? Like, this is really good.
Right. I've actually read the manga, and so seeing everybody on the TL talk about such and such as death and like how Rimuru finna like go ham, just like, oh, just y'all wait, just y'all
And
wait.
see, that's another one that I had to like go back, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to read. And I read what y'all were talking about. So like when it happened, I'm like, oh shit, Rimuru is about to like, I can't wait to see this animated. Like I'm hyped for it. So I ain't gonna drop no spoilers, but yeah, y'all, when y'all see, y'all know what we're gonna be talking about. But
Look, when that moment happened in the manga, I was just like, oh, y'all didn't
got this man mad,
fuck
mad,
pissed. Okay, I
pissed
might
off. Like, I'm
like watch
serious.
the episode. Like I might like when it premieres, I might go watch the episode just to see it animated, because that entire moment, I'm just like, get him,
Mm-hmm.
get them, please. Oh Lord.
Okay. Hey. I hear that. I hear that. So, um, just going through some of the lists that I had, and it's a lot. But I started off and with Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin, and honestly, I had to start with a mech anime because it was like, okay, again, I started with mech when I first became an anime fan, so it's only right that I do this. And I'm a big fan of the Gundam series, at least the Universal Century. Some things that break off, of course, Gundam Wing and Mobile Fighter G Gundam, and I've got Gundam Build Divers and Gundam Build Fighters on my list as well. But nothing too out of mech, because I wanted to try and focus on something that wasn't mech anime a lot, because that's literally like a, a lot of the things that I like. I watched mech, like Gurren Lagann. I was watching that back and forth. um I know that you at one point you had recommended Code Geass, and I'm like, well, I've definitely watched that more than once. So yeah, but just to go through the list, of course, I finished The Origin. I finished Cowboy Bebop. I had to go back and watch, especially when I was hearing GB talk about it. I was like, you know what? I haven't watched Cowboy Bebop in some years. Even with Toonami recycling it, I just hadn't got the actual chance to sit down and just watch it all the way through since I was a kid. So I was like, you know what, let me just go back and go ahead and finish it off. Um, I caught up on Fire Force. Dr. Stone, obviously. I'm sticking with the anime for now. I do want to eventually get into the manga, but I don't want to kind of like overload myself. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely gonna check that out because that is on my list. Radiant. And this is going to be the challenge. If I don't do nothing else, because I know Worst Gen, they are like, they love One Piece. I decided, you know what? I'm going to take this challenge to myself, and I'm going to start all the way over on One Piece, but only on the manga. I'm not going to sit there and watch, because it's easier to get through a chapter of One Piece than it is to watch an episode for me. So I'm going to undertake that challenge, and if I get caught up by the end of the year, great. If I don't, hey, I mean, at least it would have suckered me in, I guess. But I honestly originally had no desire to like watch or read One Piece, but after hearing about how well it is written, it's just a matter of, all right, well, let me go ahead and just see what everybody's talking about. And granted, I watched like I know what the beginning entails because I watched it as a kid, but it One Piece is gonna be a challenge. I can already tell.
Yeah, they've been trying to get me to read it or watch it because I'm the only person who does not read it consistently or watch it
Mm-hmm.
consistently either. So they've been trying to do that, but like I want to start from where I left off because I've watched up until Thriller Bark, and so they want me to start over, but I don't want to start over because I do not want to start over and reread. I don't want to reread through Luffy and Alvita and Arlong and then Sanji and then Mihawk and then I don't want to start over through Crow and Alabasta and all this stuff. I don't really want to start over because I've watched that and I remember
Yeah.
everything that happened. But I definitely want to start
Mm-hmm.
from Thriller Bar because that's where I left off because that's where I left off when I was still watching it when it was on Adult Swim's Toonami. Then after
Yeah.
that, I like have to start. So I might undertake that challenge. Might being the key word. It just depends on how I feel. I make no promises. But I also read pretty fast because I also caught up with My Hero
Mm-hmm.
Academia in like I want to say within a week. So we're gonna have to see how
Mm-hmm.
this goes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was surprised at just how fast you caught up with Attack on Titan. I really was like, wait, what chapter are you on? And when you told me, it was like, oh, wait a minute, you moving pretty fast here. But then again, I mean, it is a short anime and a short manga, so I understand.
Yeah.
But
I read pretty quickly. I can't help it.
hey, you
Yeah.
know what? Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. You moving faster than I am because I'm telling you, like I decided to just hop on to Jujutsu Kaisen, and again, I'm just getting to chapter 70. And I was reading all of yesterday and all of today from the last episode, and I'm like, yo, I'm just getting to 70. This is taking a little longer than I thought. I'm enjoying it, but it's I don't know why. I'm a slow reader, so maybe that's just me. I like to make sure that I capture every intricacy that's in the artwork. So um that actually brings me back to another question. When you had mentioned terraformers, like, did the studios change or something? Is that why the animation in season 2 sucked?
I want to say it did because when I was talking, so when Mike told me about it, he said season one's fire, season two is, and so I figured out what he was saying. So I want to say the studios did change because you could, like, if, like, trust me, like, I would recommend people watching it. But when you watched it season one, you're like, okay, boom, like, this is fire. And then you go into season two, you're just like, what the fuck happened with everything? Like,
Oh
it
shit.
just was like a huge change and like they kept on changing the opening and ending songs every episode, and I was so confused. And like I'm pretty sure I skipped an episode because I thought it was the ending, and it wasn't the ending because they played the opening in the middle of the episode. It's just so much going on, so much,
Wow.
so much going on.
Wow. I'll keep that in mind. Because obviously for Attack on Titan, we see that the studios changed from Studio Wix to Mappa, and I know that when the season dropped, a lot of people were complaining about like Mappa's art style as opposed to Studio Wix, and I don't understand the hatred and the vitriol. I don't know where that came from because I'm personally enjoying the way Mappa is doing this. Like that's just me, but it was just really strange just to see that people were nitpicking certain looks and certain angles, and I'm like, why, what does this, what, it's not taking away from the story at all. Why?
I mean, if you to be honest, and like there is a difference between like those two studios, but to
Yeah,
me it's not a big enough difference to make me just not want to not like it. Like there's the
exactly.
Titans and CGI which you can tolerate, but outside of that you don't see a huge difference in animation between the two, and you don't see a decrease either. But that's just how I see it. I'm also
Yeah.
like a basic bitch most of the time, so like there's that.
You know what? Okay, I'll take your word for that. So, uh, and I know that I wasn't gonna name like everything that was on my list, but I did wanted to at least name off some things that I definitely will and am looking forward to watching and or reading. Um, the one thing that I will say uh, is I just finished Inspector, and I know that you and Mike also had a conversation, of course, about Crunchyroll and Crunchyroll originals and things like that, and how with Crunchyroll it being its own studio, how it's very very hit or miss with some of these shows. We won't speak about that anime that got yeah, that we're not going to talk about them or that particular anime, but stuff like Tower of God and Inspector. Inspector, for when I actually like peeped it, I was like, yo, this is actually really interesting. I wasn't expecting that kind of anime because it definitely has it was a lot of mystery, and just the way that Iwanaga, the way that she can formulate her stories and form and to try and solve this big mystery. It was really something that stood out to me, like, yo, they're actually going with one story and spreading it out and not stretching it, because something like this, in a normal anime probably would stretch maybe one or two episodes and you'd be done with it. But they were literally breaking it down throughout these episodes, and that's something that I can appreciate. It dragged on at times, but I definitely still appreciate stuff like that. um so I did complete Inspector, and I don't know if you had seen it yet or have watched it.
I watched the first episode, and I don't know if I was in the middle of burning out or the fact that it was an English dub, but like I dropped it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe because it was the dialogue English dub was not hitting for me. I was just like,
I,
nah.
I think that was a hump that I had to get over too, because I did watch it. I watched it throughout in the English dub, and it was just one of those things. Like, yeah, there are some animes that when they're dubbed in English, they're good, but there are others that you're just kind of like, and this was one of them. I got through it, but it still didn't overall take away from the series, but it was a hump that I had to kind of push through. Um,
Right.
yeah, so there are, of course, Haikyuu is on this list. Uh, Now, everyone, of course, I'm one of the few people who have decided not to watch The Promised Neverland, only because I was getting ready to hop into it, and then everyone told me season two took a sharp left turn. So I'm like, okay, so that
Right.
means I need to go start reading this instead. But let me ask, at least, is the first season worth watching?
Are you asking me personally? Is the first season
Yeah,
worth
yeah, I'm
watching?
asking you personally.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, the first season is definitely worth watching. I was gonna jump into season two until I heard what everybody was talking about, especially from Leak, because I know Leak has read it. So I decided not to. I'm probably gonna start reading it whenever I get a chance. I need to put it on my list. But as far as the first season, from what I know, is very accurate. But I decided not to watch season two because of what they changed. That's like my issues with like anime adaptations anyway. Like, what is the point? You have great source material. No, like you do not change source material, especially if it's one of the most popular arcs. From what people have told me, one of the most popular arcs that they ruin. No, you can't do that, fam.
Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah, me and you had this conversation on Twitter. You know how I feel about animations or studios changing the way the anime is supposed to be written based on the going off of the source material. You decide, no, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to do something completely different and basically ruin the story. Again, I'm not going to mention certain animes, but you already know my frustration with that. So moving on. um of course, I had heard you recommend Golden Kamuy, and that's definitely next on my list once I get through whatever I'm watching right now. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I heard that was really good, so I'm definitely gonna hop into that. For some reason, for the life of me, I just decided to watch Fate. Now I've seen all of the Fate series up until then, but I've decided, okay, I'm gonna hop in the grand order, and I've got that other one, Khalid Inner Prisma Ilya, um on deck. If you watch one Fate series, you kind of watch them all, but it's like at this point for me, I'm like, you know what? I'm already neck deep into this. I might as well just go ahead and just watch them all. It that's just how I personally feel. Um, because anything outside of, for me, Fate, anything outside of Fate Zero, Unlimited Blade Works, and Apocrypha is just kind of like, okay, yeah. Because I did watch the original Fate Stay Night afterwards, and I'm like, okay, I definitely prefer the ending of Unlimited Blade Works as opposed to this ending, but that's just me personally. I can't speak for anybody else, but still, if you watch it, you watch it all. In my opinion, we'll see where I end up with at the end of Grand Order. Um, anyway, I don't know why it took me so long to get onto Berserk. I've known and heard about it, but yeah. Needless to say, I was shocked. I like literally, I'm still shocked, and I'm hoping they bring back another season. But I'm just Berserk was like when I'm sitting here watching, like, yo, this shit got dark fast. Wow, okay. Oh man, and that was a very interesting series, and I can't wait. I'm probably gonna have to read the manga because, again, from what people have told me, that I would enjoy the manga because the especially like the first three movies don't really do the manga justice. So I'm definitely gonna like go back and just see if there was any parts that I might have missed. But yeah, I definitely still enjoyed the series. Uh, I know that Steve and Tell, they were hyped when I told them that I was starting ReZero, starting Life in Another World, and I don't know what took me so long to get onto that series either. But and this is for my audience. If you haven't seen that, I'd definitely watch it because that's a definite isekai. Like I would be like, yeah, 2 thumbs up. I don't know if Slime is higher or whatnot, but I enjoy them equally both. Again, I'm a big isekai fan, which is why I'm waiting for Shield Hero to hurry up and come back. But
Boy,
but
look,
yeah,
I'm ready. Like, it took me a minute to watch the Rise of Shield Hero because I knew it was gonna piss me off. Like, I try to avoid series that I know is gonna just completely irritate me because I don't like mine. If I had a chance to be in the room with her, I'm beating her ass. But that's not the point. I did end up watching it finally, and I do not regret it. Like, it did piss me off, but like it was still an enjoyable watch, and I'm ready for season 2.
right. Hey, I love it too, and like you, mine pissed me off. I'm just like, yo, what the? Why are y'all following her? Like, what is the point? What is the purpose? Why do y'all believe her over? You know what? I was just like, okay, this is gonna piss me off. I already know it. She's on my list. She is on my list of characters that,
Alexa, play Nook if you book.
yeah, yes. If I see you, it is on site. Yeah. I know y'all can't see her right now, but she definitely just did the Nuck of You Buck joint. So yeah, definitely 100%. And matter of fact, when you had asked questions for Mike Check Waifu, and I saw mine, Gabby, and Rachel in one tweet. Like when I tell you I was triggered, I'm like, no, she did not just put all 3 characters that I cannot stand.
Hey
Oh.
guys. Hey guys.
Wow, I was like, man, I'm glad I don't have to answer this question because if I did, I literally would be like, no.
Save one. You gotta save one.
Yeah. Okay, so just to say this, if I absolutely had to save one, because me and you have both read Attack on Titan, so if I had to save one, it's probably
Right.
Gabby. Like as much as I can't stand Gabby, she has redeeming qualities. Mine and Rachel have none, absolutely none. Like I'm not
None.
saving none of them
None.
motherfuckers. Like y'all, no. Like matter of fact, like if I see you and I'm driving in my car, I'm running you the fuck over. Like that's
Like if the house was burned down, I had to rescue you. I'm locking the door as I walk out with somebody.
exactly.
That's it.
I'm taking the Batman approach from Batman Begins. Like I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you, and I'm literally just bye. But
The Batman Begins.
anyway, damn, we done got so deep into this conversation. I also just to point out again, I am going to rewatch Yu Yu Hakusho because I remember how good it was, and I haven't seen it in a while. Um, I'm also gonna go back and watch Rurouni Kenshin because obviously when I was a kid, I did not finish that series. Like I didn't. I wanted to watch it, but it's just like I guess it was on and off with that. So I definitely have to go back and watch Rurouni Kenshin because I hear it's really good. Fist of the North Star is something that I was surprised to find on my list. Because I have Verve and obviously High Dive and Crunchyroll are just like right in my face. So when they put Fist of the North Star back up there, I'm like, oh, okay. Now I definitely haven't watched this in so long, so I'm definitely putting that on my list. Because I'm doing a lot of rehashing, but obviously, um, could you tell me a little bit more about solo leveling? Because I've been hearing a lot about.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Sung Jinwoo is one of my anime husbands. Yes, manga
Oh boy.
husbands, whatever. He could get it every night. Anyway, um,
Oh my God, hold on. To my audience show, she's got a list of anime characters that she would that yeah, I know she would. We just gonna leave it at that. I, I know Sakuna and Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen are definitely two of them.
Anatomy,
Yeah,
Anatomy.
and Nanami. Oh, word. Oh, okay. Um, and you had said also Benny Maru from Slime. She just eyes rolled in the back of your head. Oh boy. Okay. 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 Let me calm down because we gotta talk about solo leveling before I jump into the next part.
So solo leveling is a really, really good series. Leap put me on, so shout out to him. It's about this world of hunters, and these random gates keep popping up into these dungeons. And so one of the main character is known as the weakest hunter because he doesn't really he manages to survive dungeons, but he's not very like useful in fighting when in them. So it comes a time where he enters this mission and undergoes some shit happens, basically, to put it simply. And so he undergoes this constant transformation afterwards where he levels up, hence the name solo leveling, and becomes a different person and just
Oh wow.
woo. Anyway, it's just a really good series, and I hope somebody picks it up. I remember us talking about this on Clubhouse last week, and we were talking about. I think Leak said either Mappa or UFO Table would be good if either one of those one of those studios picked it up to animate it because what Leak said that the scenes would be if they were animated, it'd be like probably would work really well. And I agree. When you actually watch, like read it, you'll see what we're talking about. The fights are amazing. The power system is interesting too. It's a really good read, and I enjoy reading it. It's consistently being updated. And this last chapter, for all of the people who do read it out there, y'all know this last chapter. The next chapter's gonna be some shit, so I'm ready for it. Oh, Wednesday need to come on.
Okay. Hey, that's what's up. I'm definitely going to check that out. Um, so with that, before we get into like and the random question portion, I did just wanted to talk a little more um about how you feel now that you've caught up on Attack on Titan. Like what are your feelings now about the way that this could end?
That's a good question. Um, I don't know. all I know is I'm 100% on Aaron's side. I feel I'm 100. Like here's how I feel. Like all the talk about innocent lives and stuff, I understand, but shoot, I don't blame Aaron for how he's going about it and what he's doing. Like I really can't. And I talked to Sensei about this with how I feel about it, without giving any spoilers. But I really see where Aaron's coming from. I completely understand it. So I know I'm not gonna say, oh, Aaron's like a villain and a bad guy. I'm not saying he's a good guy either, but I can't say that I don't understand why he's doing what he's doing. I really
Hey,
can't.
you know what, that you make an excellent argument, and honestly, I'm not on Aaron's side, but it's like, as me and you discussed before, like, is he justified? Then the answer would be, in this case, yes. Maybe not to the extreme that he took it, but at this point, Aaron was at his wits end. It's like, okay, there really is no other feasible option to save everybody. So you know what? Fuck it. And kind of had to take on the role of the bad guy to make sure that they come up with the result that they want. Now, granted, we'll see what happens and see what the final chapter says. But I will say that the penultimate chapter that just came out really surprised me, because I honestly was not expecting Aaron to come out of that rubble. I'm not gonna give out away any spoilers, but I just was not expecting that form. And we're just gonna keep it brief. And I really wasn't expecting, Mikasa to come to the solution that she had to come to. I thought honestly that it would be um Armin that made that final decision, but obviously, you know what, that it makes more sense that Mikasa would be the one to ultimately says, I have to do this. So um fair play though, honestly, I get where you're coming from. Levi is still the GOAT. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Right, he is. But I do enjoy the shift from Levi taking care of things without spoiling too much. I do enjoy the shift from Levi taking care of everything, generation doing so instead. I do enjoy that shift like a little bit more, and I was going to say this because I love Levi. I absolutely love Levi as a character, but I don't want him to become too overused in the series. And I'm glad in the recent chapters they've shifted his use. Not that he's become useless, not at all, but they shifted from him to like, okay, it's y'all's turn. So
Right. But ultimately, Levi had one goal that he wanted to accomplish, and he ended up accomplishing that goal. So you know what he did? He did his job when it came to the very end. So I have to applaud him for that. And as you said, he was not used or overused as much once the second series, or rather, the final season got underway. So, and I'm just waiting for the rest of this joint to get animated. Now, I don't know what Mappa is going to do, because they were saying that there was only going to be a limited number of episodes, and I'm hoping they don't go off script. So far, it doesn't seem like they're going to, but because I still don't know whether we're going to get a part two, or whether we're going to get a movie or two movies. But I'm just hoping that they finish out the story the way that it is written, because as we said before, certain animes that will not be named in this episode continuously and still piss me off to this day. So that's neither here nor there. To get back into it, without giving away any spoilers, for me, because obviously I just jumped into the JJK manga. Uh, what is,
ooh.
and again, I told you I'm on chapter 70, which is hidden inventories. What I'm trying to figure out the way to phrase this question without you like having to give away any spoilers. Uh, I should just ask: Does this shit like really turn up from here? Like, does it just continuously get this good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because what I'm trying to remember what chapter 70 was, because it's been a minute since I've actually read it.
Yeah, so right now, where I'm at, pretty much they are this is a flashback with Guido, uh Satoru. They're pretty much,
Okay. Okay.
they're in that series.
Okay. Oh yeah, it turned up in that art too, but
Oh,
Lord, when you get to Shibuya,
okay. Okay, I got something to look forward to. All right, all right. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm excited. I'm excited.
yeah, it's exciting. Oh, it's exciting. All right.
Oh boy, that also means that there's gonna be some twist that's probably gonna have me surprised. Well, you know what? If I can handle Jiraiya's death, I think I can handle just about anything. Man, oh no, no, not that laugh. What does that mean? Oh shit. See, now she done got me worried. Like, oh man, please don't let it be no shit that's gonna piss me off. But you know what? All right, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I can keep an open mind, and we'll see where it comes down to. Um, so with that, we're just gonna get, I guess, into a couple of random questions here. It's gonna be anime based and of course non-anime based. So just see, to the best of your abilities, just answer them as as best as you possibly can. So, out of all the animes that you have watched, what is one anime that is perhaps the worst anime that you've ever watched in your entire life? We're not talking about the stuff that everybody recommends not to watch, like X Arm. Like we no that we already know what that is all about. But just the anime that you've watched that you would just say you will never watch ever again, even if somebody paid you to do it.
Ooh, is this as part of the like challenge or just in general?
Either or.
Ooh, oh, okay then. Woo. So if I had to go by the challenge, I'd say High Rise Invasion. Never again.
Oh.
Like it was not it for me. It wasn't like it was a cool premise. They said like fan service and stuff like okay, cool. And then I was just like, this isn't even really fan service. This shit tame compared to the stuff I've seen. So y'all
Mm-hmm.
lied to me. Like y'all could at least add a little bit more. People say it's too much fan service. It's just like, have y'all not seen some of the series, like some Ichi? Like this isn't even that bad Ichi. Like this is tame compared to some stuff like we watched. So High Rise
Mm.
Invasion so far is really the only one on the list that I absolutely like would not watch or recommend to anyone. Like unless you just don't, you want to just not have something, some background noise or something. Um, Now in general,
Oh.
in general,
Oh boy.
to the abandoned piece, shout out to my husband, supposedly, allegedly. He put us on that, but to the abandoned sacred beast is not it. I'm sorry, it wasn't. Like never
Okay.
again. That shit was hot booty juice, and I'd much rather
Okay. Okay.
I'd much rather watch the last episode of Banana Fish than to ever watch that shit again.
Oh shit.
Banana Fish, the last episode of Banana Fish depressed the fuck out of me, but I'd rather watch it on repeat than ever watch
Damn, is
Sacred Beast.
that bad? Oh shit. So to the Abandoned Sacred Beast is an absolute dumpster fire. Okay, so I will be sure to not watch that shit. Okay. Look, because I've already had my fair share of bad anime. Sort of guy.
Oh no, that shit was ass too.
Ass. Okay. Yeah. Uh, I do want to ask this: Where did you see the whole shenanigans with Kirk Franklin?
I didn't listen to his like voicemail, but I basically know what happened. Yeah.
Okay, so I just got to ask, what are your thoughts? Because I mean, you obviously saw my thoughts on Twitter and how I felt about the situation. So I just got to ask, how do you feel? This is part of the random question part.
Here's how I think. Like, I see what people mean by like you shouldn't be cussing at your kids, but also understand that one, you can't always trust a random video of somebody yelling because usually there's a trigger. We don't know what his son. I heard that his son told him fuck him or some shit like that. We don't know if his son did some fuck shit or something before he in. And his son is also a grown ass man. Right. Now I do understand like you shouldn't be talking to people like that. But if you give disrespect, you can't be surprised when you get that back, regardless of who's holier than that. Because I could tell your mama and cuss her out. I'm not gonna be alive tomorrow. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah. I feel the same way, man. Like if for one, I would never ever cuss my parents out. Never. I have too much respect and too much fear for that. But even as I'm grown, I could be I could be 60 and my parents could be 98 and I still won't like utter a curse word towards them. And that's just the respect that I have. Honestly, I went on Instagram and I saw that, of course, Kennedy had hopped on to one of Carrion's posts and was arguing him about this. And I can tell that there was some deep rooted pain in this man because he literally told her, "You stole my daddy." And hearing and seeing that, I was like, you got some issues you got to work out, dude. Like it's far beyond whatever you have, whatever problems you got with your dad. You got problems with the whole family. This is crazy. Okay, I saw enough right there. So prayers out to them, man. But I'm like you, I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it, but I feel like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry.
No. Keep you. What were
Tend
you
to
gonna
stay
say?
out of
My
that.
bad.
Like, I was gonna say that I tend to like stay out of a lot of stuff when it comes to social media because people gonna argue and feel how they feel. I just don't stress myself over somebody else's family business. Like, I give respect to my parents and they give respect to me, and that's none of my business. Kurt Franklin, like people want to say cancel Kurt Franklin because of the out of context video that he cussed out his son and stuff, and we don't know what his son might have did to him first. Because while there are shitty parents, there are also shitty children who have good parents. So let's like, we can't automatically just attribute Kurt Franklin as a bad parent. So
yeah, we honestly don't know the full story behind their fight and whatever they're going through. So that's why I'm just like, I'm gonna stay out of it. But just from the outside looking in, this is what I see. So it is what it is, I suppose. So
right.
yeah, next random question. So would you, between these two scenarios, what would you do? You have to.
Oh no.
I would try. So are. So you're on an island, an abandoned island. You can either spend the rest of your life with one of your faves. I'm gonna say Gojo because that's the one that I can think of. So you have to spend the rest of your life with Gojo, but no money to your name, and you're pretty much living off the land, or spend 3 weeks with Rachel for $60 million. What would you do?
I'm very, very, nearing Gojo part because reasons. However, the thought of being able to kill Rachel and get $10 million is also very, very seductive right now. Damn, I gotta choose between lust and greed. Damn. This is a hard decision.
I had to throw a hard one out there, like, yo, I got to see what you would think, because it just intrigued me to see what your response would be.
See, I like to be able to get my money's worth. Like, I can't spend the rest of my life living off the fat of the land. I'm a city girl. Like, my mama she grew up on the farm, but I ain't built like that. No matter how much the Toonami might like Gojo, baby, I'm sorry, but I had to go with living with Rachel. So I can easily just trip and let's make that bitch fall down the stairs and get $60 million for it. Blessings.
Get the bag, she said. Get the bag. Okay. You know what? I'm not mad at that answer one bit. I mean, because it's $60 million. So I mean, but all right. This is kind of off the rhythm because this is kind of me. This is the big kid in me. If you had to, because I know you had said Pokemon, of course, was not your ministry. Of course, I listened to the Blandame podcast episode. But if you had to have one, and I'm gonna do a twist. If you had one Digimon that you could own personally or have as a partner personally, who would it be?
So we're going with the original Digimon tamers. Let's see. I don't know. My mind is really telling me either Gatomon, which turned into Angie Woman, or
Mm-hmm.
Paimon, because I love Mimi was one of my favorite characters. I have no idea why Mimi was one of my favorite characters. Maybe because I like shit that was pink and girly when I was younger. Who knows? Shoot, but I want to say either between those two because the interesting thing, my favorite Digimon is not Tamers. My favorite Digimon is Digimon Frontier when they turn into Digimon, and that's my
Okay, when they
favorite
use spirit
one.
evolution,
Yes.
okay.
So, but I would have, if I had to choose like a partner, it'd probably be probably got to mine. Yeah,
Okay.
probably got to mine.
Okay, that's not a bad answer. And the reason I ask is again, I'm literally watching the Digimon Adventure reboot with the original 8, and it made me think of that. I'm not going to be, the guy and say, Agumon, because obviously Agumon is like one of the main characters and one of the main Digimon. So I'm like you, I'm gonna go with the what they call the Holy Digimon of the Celestials, and I'm gonna go with Patamon as mine. Um I've always liked Patamon because I mean you got this weird bat slash guinea pig looking thing, and all of a sudden he's an angel. Now he turns into Angemon, Magna Angemon, Seraphimon, like that is my nigga, and he's so OP as fuck. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, yes, I mean, why would I not want to have an angel as my partner, regardless of whatever the hell he is as a rookie? That's just me. And even now in the new series, like he can't use his Angemon Digivolution, so he actually had to do which if you've seen like Digimon Adventure 02, he had to what's that armor digivolve into Pegasus Mon, which he doesn't armor digivolve into him in this series, but he finds another evolution line and digivolves into Pegasus Mon just out of sheer willpower. And I'm like, wow, he was able to do that. Shit, what? Give me Patamon, please,
Right. It's been so
please.
long since I
Um,
watched these names and stuff. Are just like, oh my gosh, y'all opened up memories for the kids.
yeah, I had to go back, man, because when I saw that it popped up, the beginning of this year, I'm like, wait, Digimon has a new series. Wait, it's about the original 8, but it's a reboot. Man, what am I doing? Let me go ahead and watch this joint. It's admittedly, it is a lot darker than the original series. Um, a lot of the
Wow.
focus as well is more so on the main characters like Tai and Matt, or Taichi and Yamato if you want to get technical. But it's still a very interesting episode and of series. And I think if you decided to sit down and watch it, you would actually kind of like Mimi. They don't focus on Mimi as much as I think they should, but Mimi is actually a whole boss in this series. Like she's on her shit. So I gotta give her props because she knew when to take charge. Like when the time came around, like she knew what the hell she was doing. So props to her. Um, I think I didn't have too many random questions or whatnot, but I think there was one more, and I'm gonna see in my list here which one it was. Okay. Oh, of course. I know you're D9. Shout out to Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Yes, I got to shout y'all out because my godmother was a Zeta and my god sister, of course, followed in her footsteps, and their god my godfather before he passed, he was one of the reasons why I became a noob. So um I just have to ask, of course, what was your not favorite, goodness gracious, I'm tripping all over my words today. What is your favorite thing about being a woman of Zeta? Like what is, or a finer woman in this case, like what is something that you enjoy about your sorority that you will hold on to forever and ever?
Wow. Ooh, that's a great question. It's it's hard to form a direct answer because there's so many things I enjoy about it. It's being starting over from when I first came to Blue and then end up becoming Zeta. It's broken me out of my shell and allowed me to reach out to new people. And the interesting part, the thing I really love about being a Zeta is like there is no mold, specific mold for Zeta. Like we all look different. We all come in
Mm-hmm.
different shapes and sizes. It's not a, even though people like to use that stereotype, that stereotype for Zetas, but we don't all look like that. We come in different shapes and sizes, and we don't have to fit a particular look to be a Zeta or to enjoy being a Zeta. It's just I've met so many different sorts of so many different skin tones, hair textures, shapes and sizes, heights, all these different things. And I love the variety that comes with being a finer woman. And it's just like the idea of being a finer woman isn't just in what we look like. It's so much more than it's a style. And that may sound like extra, but that's how I really feel. It's embodying being a finer woman in every aspect of our lives, how we talk to each other, how we talk to people outside of our org, whether they're D9 or not D9 or not Greek at all, and how we uphold the standards of our the standards and the principles of our org, and whether that's through scholarship, service, sisterhood, and of course finer womanhood, and just making Zeta what it should be and what our founders hoped it would be. And so I just really enjoy seeing my sorors uphold it. I try to uphold it myself to the best of my abilities because I became a Zeta for a reason. I authentically enjoy it. And I would, if I had to go back in time, I would not change my decision. Like, this has opened so many doors, not necessarily, like on some popularity type stuff, but really on some emotional connection wise. I found my closest friends in my org and because of Zeta. So it's just so much stuff that goes into enjoying it, and I wouldn't take it back, even though I'm not as invested into the social aspects of Zeta because I've graduated from undergrad. I still absolutely love it. So
respect, man. Shout out to all D9 orgs out there. Again, especially to Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and of course to Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Yo to the Noops. I think we have definitely had a great conversation here. I'm hoping to do more. Hopefully, at least Law will be here. I know Chanasa is really not, I guess anime based. I don't know if she watches or not or whatnot, but I know Law has watched some anime, and I know that he would be, he would love to at least be on this platform. So, but with that, we'll come to that when we get there. That being said, are there any special shout outs to any Black businesses or podcasts that you got?
But shout out, of course, to Worst Gen Podcast, Worst Generation Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Worst Gen Pod, no underscores, blue. Follow me at Panda and the Don, Panda underscore DADON. Make sure y'all participate in the Watch Your 100 Anime Challenge. Use the hashtag. Let us know what your list is looking like. Let us know what you're watching. You can follow myself or Tell and Steve. I can't remember their names on Twitter off the bat. But just shout out to the Black anime pod community and everything. Support Give Panda the Ox when it comes back, but you can definitely listen to the songs that we recently played. We'll be returning in season 3 when the pod returns, so we got some stuff in store for y'all.
Look forward to
and it. just follow us and just support us, and thank y'all. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. And that just reminded me, because you talked about Give Panda the Ox, because there was one more question that I wanted to ask. Like, what made you get into anime openings and endings? Because honestly, me being involved in music, again, I'm marching the band. Like, I've always loved anime openings, and I did not realize that I had a shared love with someone else, like as much as you know more than I do. Even it was just like, wow, okay, so what made you get into that? Like, what made you decide, like, yo, these joints are fire and I'm gonna start Give Panda the Ox?
Wow. So I've always had a love for like anime openings and endings, especially Naruto and Bleach anime openings and endings, because those are the main ones that I would listen to, even the lesser known ones. And so that's been happening, I want to say, for a couple years, like almost as long as I've been watching anime, because after Naruto, it started when Naruto, like, opening stopped being the American version, and then we got into Far Away by Asian Kung Fu Generation, and then Go by Flow, and then Use Rhapsody by Samba Master, and so on and so forth. That's when I started getting into openings, and then I started looking at YouTube and finding out, there's one opening and a couple of endings that they never showed us. And then I also got into Bleach openings through Asterisk by Orange Range, which is the first opening. And so when we were on a pod, I think one day I was like, they were talking, I think we ended up talking about, I don't know if we were doing an anime openings in any spot or another pod. And I started sitting like, this opening, this is the opening, this is the name of this opening, this is the name of this ending. And they were just like, how do you know so much about these openings and endings? And so that made me, I was at school one day, like I was on campus, and I was thinking, I'm like, what if I had a segment where I showed people different openings and endings for different anime and just put them on, like give them something new to listen to, but also give them something new to watch. So I pitched the idea to the whole, to everybody on the pod, and they were all on board with it. And I came up with the name, and then boom, October 2019 was when the first Give Panda the Ox, when it started. So ever since then, I've just been looking at and just posting and just giving out multiple openings and endings, and it's just been like so much fun. And I really enjoy it. Just openings and endings, like I don't see how you can skip them especially when you're watching it for the first time.
A point well taken, and I absolutely agree. I'm just gonna throw it out there that Veronica by Aquatons is is my favorite Bleach opening, if not one of my favorites of all time. Like just love
to see it.
Yeah, I had to throw that out there. I was just like, yes, this is it. The first time I saw it, and I was watching, but I was like, oh my God, what is this opening? I gotta find it. And I was glad to find it. So, I'm definitely going to be keeping up with that, because there have been some anime openings that I would like know off rip, but because of work and other things, it's like I would be like maybe a couple minutes or a couple seconds too late, and I'm just like, shit. But I was glad I was able to get the one from the original Baki. I was like, oh, I know this one, and nobody else does. Man, let me go ahead and throw that out there. So, but yeah, I'm going to be paying more attention to that whenever it comes back up, and I'm looking forward to whenever a Worst Gen Pod gets started with season 3. So I will be looking forward to that. To my audience out there, of course, to the Black anime community, definitely continue to check out Worst Gen Pod, obviously, but Blanime Podcast, definitely check out Inside the Mind of a Blerd. I'm trying to think. There's one more. Mic Check Waifu. Goodness, now I gotta look at Twitter or look at my list and just be sure that I name all the ones that I can think of.
Black anime.
Black anime.
Spicy Lady.
Say again.
Spicy Lady.
Oh yeah, Spicy Lady. Yeah, definitely. I peeped her, and yeah, definitely check her out. I think I've got at least Anime Lately, obviously. But yeah, I think that is a wrap for today. Once again, thank you to Amanda, aka Panda the Don, for joining us on this episode. I really, really appreciate her coming through. Guys, be sure that, of course, that you like, share, and subscribe to the Khaotic Kulture Podcast. Be sure that you like and follow us on Facebook at the Khaotic Kulture Podcast page. Be sure that you follow us on Instagram at Khaotic Kulture Pod and on Twitter at Khaotic_Culture. Be sure that you follow me at K3D the Pro or Ked the Pro on Instagram and Twitter. It's the same username for both. Be sure that, of course, you follow Panda at the ones that she had just mentioned. Of course, be sure that you follow her page on Twitter. That being said, I think that's it. Once again, thank you guys for joining us for this edition of the Khaotic Kulture Podcast. Be blessed, be safe. God is love. Deuces.
Chaos in these streets, so let's talk about it, please. Let's hold some conversation. You see where I'm coming from. Yes, it's so amazing. Go ahead, get comfortable. You can grab a seat, take a load off your feet. Yeah, welcome to the table. We don't tell no lies over here. This ain't no fable. We just live our lives over here. We ain't no angels. We just shine our light over here. We got the power. We just showing love over here. Everybody needs some.